If you were to step inside a rustic Amish farmhouse and open their wooden medicine cabinet, you would find a dark brown glass bottle costing less than $1. The outside world knows this crystal clear liquid merely as a common first aid staple for tending wounds. But to the elder Amish farmers and the most seasoned stewards of the land, this is a primal, closely guarded secret. It holds the power to rescue gasping roots and resurrect exhausted, lifeless garden beds without the need for a single drop of industrial chemicals. That liquid is hydrogen peroxide. In the year 1818, the French chemist Louis-Jacques Thénaud first identified this remarkable compound. If you peer into its molecular structure, it bears the formula H2O2. It is almost identical to a pristine drop of Mother Earth's rainwater, with only one profound difference. It shoulders a single additional oxygen atom. That tiny extra atom is the master key. When it touches the Earth, hydrogen peroxide decomposes with a gentle grace. It leaves behind no toxic residue. It simply shatters into pure water and releases a breath of pristine oxygen exactly where the roots are thirsting for it most. In a moment of quiet stillness, it transforms into a purifying agent, soothing the soil and warding off pathogens, sparing you the burden of expensive industrial chemicals. Today, let us open that humble brown bottle and contemplate 9 quiet ways a single extra atom of oxygen can forever change the destiny of your garden. The first secret begins at the very dawn of life, the heirloom seed. If you have ever sown a handful of seeds and waited in weary despair, only to find them lying dormant or rotting beneath the mud, this is when you need a biological spark. Nature designed these seeds with an incredibly resilient armor to endure the bitter, freezing winters. Steeping the seeds in a diluted hydrogen peroxide solution not only gently softens that hardened coat, but it also helps wash away the fungal spores lying in wait on the surface. Yet the true miracle lies deeper. That extra oxygen molecule interacts directly with the seed's embryo, like a deep breath awakening a slumbering life. Biological studies from the 1990s have proven that this process multiplies the speed of germination. The method is wonderfully simple. Blend 1 tablespoon of standard 3% hydrogen peroxide with 9 tablespoons of pure water. Drop fragile seeds, like lettuce or heirloom tomatoes, into this bath for roughly 30 minutes. For stubborn, hardened seeds, like winter peas, allow them to soak for a few hours. Rinse them clean, sow them into the dark loam, and prepare to welcome green shoots emerging far earlier than usual, pulsing with a fierce, awakened vitality. As those green shoots stretch upward, an invisible adversary often lurks beneath the damp earth: fungus gnats. In the world of indoor potted plants, these tiny hovering flies are a persistent nuisance. Most people attempt to combat the adult flies or hang bright yellow sticky traps. But that is a superficial fix. The root of the problem does not fly through the air. It is the swarm of larvae hiding just an inch beneath the soil's surface. When the decaying organic matter runs dry, these larvae will turn their hunger toward the fragile root hairs, slowly draining the plant's life force. Hydrogen peroxide offers a gentle yet profoundly decisive solution. Blend 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide with 4 parts water. Wait for the topsoil to dry slightly, then drench the pot with this elixir. If you listen closely, you will hear a quiet, soft fizzing, the gentle sound of nature's purification process. The peroxide makes contact and cleanses the earth of the larva instantly. A few hours later, it gracefully fades away into water and pure oxygen, leaving absolutely no harmful scars upon Mother Earth. This purifying power leads us to an even greater restoration: healing root rot. For any steward of the earth, root rot is a heartbreaking trial. Your beloved plant turns a sickly yellow, its leaves drooping heavily. When you gently pull it from the earth, the roots have turned a dark, lifeless mush, suffocated in waterlogged, oxygen-deprived soil. Most would sorrowfully toss the plant onto the compost heap, but hydrogen peroxide can grant those roots a miraculous second chance. It works a dual magic. It suppresses the destructive anaerobic bacteria while simultaneously flooding the root zone with a waterfall of pure oxygen, the very breath the plant is desperately craving. Carefully uproot the plant and use sterilized shears to prune away every trace of the decaying roots. Then mix 1 part hydrogen peroxide with 2 parts water and steep the surviving roots in this soothing bath for a few minutes. Finally, gently replant it into a bed of fresh, dry, and friable loam. Nothing in nature is absolute, but you will watch in quiet awe at how resilient life can be when offered the right breath of support. That very breath is also the antidote to another heavy burden of agriculture: compacted soil. When the earth is heavily trampled, or when heavy clay cracks under a blistering drought, oxygen cannot reach the roots. Without oxygen, the root system cannot absorb nutrients, no matter how many bags of fertilizer you pour over them. The foundational cure is always the long-term addition of rich organic compost. But in a moment of crisis, drenching the earth with a diluted solution, 1 tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide per quart of water will instantly carve out natural breathing spaces. As it touches the soil, microscopic bubbles of oxygen bloom and expand, fracturing the suffocating tightness. Within just a few days, the leaves will flush with a lush, vibrant green, much like a weary traveler finally catching a breath of crisp, fresh air. Dear friend, as we journey together to uncover the profound majesty hidden within the simplest of things, you surely feel a quiet relief washing over your mind. If you are someone yearning to return to a life of true self-sufficiency, longing to cast off the heavy chains of toxic chemical agriculture to protect your family, then we are walking the same tranquil path. Please take a peaceful moment to gently press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your shared comments about the patch of earth you tenderly care for are the most rustic and precious source of energy. They allow me to continue this journey of unearthing age-old ecological philosophies, returning the heirloom seeds of healing safely back into your hands. Returning to our journey of purification, the quiet magic of hydrogen peroxide reaches all the way up to the high canopy. On sweltering, humid summer days, a powdery white veil can suddenly blanket the leaves of your pumpkins, cucumbers, or heirloom roses. Powdery mildew spreads with terrifying speed, draining the vital sap from the plant just before the harvest. Instead of reaching for harsh, highly concentrated chemical fungicides, you need only mix 1 tablespoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide with a cup of pure water in a misting bottle. Gently mist both the upper and lower surfaces of the leaves in the cool stillness of early morning or gathering dusk. The peroxide will quietly cleanse and eradicate the fungal spores on contact. This silent, purifying dance, repeated every few days, will gracefully restore the leaves to their pristine, original green. That same purification must also be applied to the inanimate, your gardening tools. This is the quiet boundary that separates an amateur from one who truly understands nature. Every time your pruning shears slice through a diseased branch, you risk inadvertently carrying that pathogen to the next healthy plant. By the 1980s, traditional orchardists recognized that cross-contamination through tools was the silent culprit behind widespread crop failures. The Amish, with their deeply careful and frugal way of living, always hold this practice close. Between cuts, they wipe their blades clean with a rag soaked in 3% hydrogen peroxide, or dip their tools into the solution for a quick 30 seconds. Unlike harsh, pungent chemical cleaners that corrode metal, hydrogen peroxide helps eradicate viruses and molds, then simply evaporates, leaving absolutely no toxic footprint behind. This protective embrace must be established from the very beginning. Gardeners are often heartbroken to find a tray of vibrant, tender seedlings suddenly collapsed at the stem and withered over a single night. The dreaded damping off disease caused by soil-borne fungi is a devastating hurdle. It is worth noting that these fungal spores often lie in wait naturally within the earth. To mitigate this, before sowing your seeds, deeply drench your seed starting trays with a solution of 1 tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide to 1 cup of water. This gentle act sanitizes the nursery soil without disrupting its delicate pH balance. And when the young shoots finally emerge, a highly diluted wash of 6 parts water to 1 part peroxide will serve as an impenetrable shield, protecting those fragile silken roots. That shield is equally vital for your old planters. Repurposing plastic or rustic terracotta pots is a beautiful act of reverence for Mother Earth. But an old pot always carries the ghostly remnants of dead roots and lingering fungal spores. A simple rinse with tap water is rarely enough. Blend 1 part hydrogen peroxide with 2 parts water in a large bucket and let the pot steep in this quiet bath for 10 minutes. Take a brush, scrub them, gently rinse them clean, and set them out to bake under the radiant sun. The vessel will be truly reborn, pure, sterile, and perfectly safe to cradle a fragile new life. And finally, for those moments when you bring the radiant beauty of nature indoors, a fresh-cut bouquet. Proud asters and heirloom roses placed in a vase often wither and fade after just a few days. The primary thief of their beauty is bacteria, multiplying in the water, causing the stems to rot and blocking the capillary vessels from drawing up moisture. Instead of tearing open those commercial chemical preservative packets, simply add a teaspoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide to every quart of vase water. The water will remain beautifully crystal clear, free of that foul, slimy film at the bottom of the glass. By changing the water every few days and adding that quiet drop of peroxide, your bouquet will remain vibrant, holding its head high for much, much longer. Before we close, there is a solemn warning that nature imparts. True power always demands graceful restraint. Always use the standard 3% hydrogen peroxide found in any common pharmacy. Take great care never to use highly concentrated industrial-grade solutions without a profound understanding and precise dilution to ensure the absolute safety of both your own skin and the lives of your plants. Here, stronger does not mean better. Too much peroxide will indiscriminately harm the beneficial microbial networks that tirelessly plow and protect the earth day and night. Treat it as a natural, supportive ally, a gentle intervention to be used exactly when and where it is needed, not a habit of daily abuse. Furthermore, light and open air are the natural enemies of this compound, causing it to degrade rapidly. Therefore, always seal the cap tightly and store the bottle in a quiet, dark place. With just one extra lingering atom of oxygen, creation has bestowed upon us a magnificent remedy to heal the quietest wounds of our gardens. When we truly understand and learn to gracefully yield those humble brown bottles, do far more than just save a potted plant. They entirely transform how we perceive the delicate balance of life. Without the harsh, deafening roar of industrial chemicals, Mother Earth constantly offers us her most rustic, purifying solutions. Our only task is to learn how to listen and to apply her wisdom with boundless reverence.